1 in 4 absentee-owned homes in the Phoenix area is in rough shape. Dated kitchen, old carpet, paint that hasn't been touched in 15 years, landscaping that looks like they gave up on. And when those owners call an agent, or worse, when an investor calls them, the conversation almost always goes the same. Look, the property needs work. Here's what I can do as is. Take it or leave it. And most of them take it because they don't know there's another option. That other option is Smart Reface. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly what it is, how it works, and what it's actually worth to you as an out-of-state seller. Here's what investors understand that most sellers don't. The difference between an as-is sale price and a renovated sale price on a Maricopa County property isn't a one-to-one deal. It's not spend 20 grand and get 20 grand more. The math is far better than that. Strategic targeted updates, the right paint colors, new flooring, updated fixtures, fresh landscaping, cleaned up curb appeal. These changes don't just make the home look better. They fundamentally change who shows up to buy it. An as-is dated property attracts investors and flippers who want to pay a wholesale price and only a tiny fraction of the retail market. That's the market you want, of course, because they pay more. And in that market, that little outlier is looking for a property they can buy at a discounted price because of its condition. A refreshed, well-presented property attracts the vast majority of true retail buyers, real people who want to live there and who will pay full market value to do it. That shift in buyer pool is where the money is. Smart Reface is a pre-sale renovation and coordination program built specifically for absentee owners of residential property here in the Phoenix metro area who want to capture that full market value without having to manage the project from out of state or out of the area. Here's how it works. First, we do a full assessment of your property. What it needs, what will move the needle on the sale price, what's not worth touching. Not every dollar spent on renovation comes back. We only recommend updates with a strong ROI. Then we build a scope. We're talking targeted improvements, new interior paint, flooring, updated fixtures, fresh landscaping, maybe a kitchen refresh if the numbers warrant it. Every line item is tied to a return. Then we connect you with a very economical but excellent contractor or contractors we know and trust. And on a defined timeline, typically it's 4 to 8 weeks. And because you're not here to supervise, we follow through and check on the work progress and quality, of course. You don't need to fly out. You don't need to manage anyone. We send you updates, you approve decisions, and like magic, that ugly duckling turns into a beautiful swan while you're doing anything but coming out here to Phoenix. When the renovation is complete, we list the property and market it with the full weight of the absentee equity selling system behind the process. Now let me tell you about what this actually means financially. Over the last 8 years, Smart Reface has delivered on average over $41,000 in additional net walkaway money compared to selling in as-is condition. Now, it obviously doesn't work like that for every property. Some homes are closer to $25,000 and some are well over $100,000. It simply depends on condition, location, and current market conditions. This is why before we ever consider a Smart Reface as an option, we do a full cost-benefit analysis of the property so we know well in advance what kind of return is realistic for you. But the pattern is consistent. A well-executed pre-sale renovation on the right property doesn't cost money, it makes money. The question is how much? And that can only be answered when we do this cost-benefit analysis for you. I know what some of you are thinking. Matt, I don't have the money just sitting around to spend on a renovation for a property I'm trying to sell. That's a real concern, and it's one we hear often. Here's what I'll say to that. If cash flow is tight, and it often is, we have a fast, easy solution so you don't have to front the money yourself. It's something we put together specifically for sellers in that situation. Details are simple, and we can walk you through them if need be. The point is, don't let that be the reason you say no to walking away from an additional $25,000 to $150,000. Smart Reface isn't right for every property. If your home is already in great shape, we've got other tools in the system that may serve you better. But if your Arizona property is dated, tired, needs work, and you've been told it's only worth what investors are willing to pay for it as is, this is your chance to get a second opinion before you sign anything. Go to our website. There's a free guide to our Smart Reface service that takes you through the process step by step. From there, you can find out what your property is actually worth in as-is condition and in renovated condition. It's side by side. Then you decide. Dan, I am Matt Borkowski. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to our channel below.